Welcome to the Brainstorm with Sparks and Finn, a podcast where we brainstorm the science and philosophy of a new age, an electric universe age, and what it means for the human race, past, present, and future. I'm Finn, author, editor, an unqualified scrub with some learning to do. Train the old wise master, Steve!
Stupid! You're so stupid!
And I'm Sparks, physicist, experimentalist, and student of cosmology, seeking a master strong enough to train me in the ways of the electric universe model of cosmology.
Introducing Shidoshi Steve Smith, master of the deadly art of electric universe, and author of ridiculous quantities of research papers you can find at the Picture of the Day tab over on thunderbolts.info. Today's springboard topic, Mars and why the human race is basically cooked. So buckle up, and let's see where this one goes.
This meeting is being recorded. Okay. Did you find your 3D glasses?
No,
Weird.
I did not.
That kind of puts the kibosh on showing a 3D movie.
Well, I mean, I can see it. I mean,
Pardon me?
we want everyone else to see it.
That's true. Wouldn't
I'm
do
lost.
any good. Wouldn't do any good for us to have 3D glasses and they to not.
Matt, Steve made some 3D movies. He's made 8 of them.
Really?
On the surface of Mars, and they're freaking awesome.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wrote the music, did the whole thing.
Holy moly.
Yeah, they're about 2.5 minutes each, various areas on Mars. Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, one of the latest or the last of the Martian satellites, has a camera on board that it has very high resolution. It's a telescope.
Yeah.
So it takes these, it's in a polar orbit too. So this orbit sees things from this side of the track, and the next orbit sees things from that side of the track. So you get a stereo view.
Oh, wow.
So you can have a red and a blue, and it's like you have eyes that are like 1,000 miles wide, that kind of thing. So the surface looks like you're flying over it. So because these images are like 400 megabytes, they're huge JPEGs. They would cover an auditorium wall. You know, they're that large. So you can zoom in on them tremendously close. So what I did is I would, they have this thing called High View, which allows you to import these multi-megabyte images into their viewer. And then you can zoom in on them with a navigator. You can blow the image up.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I'd zoom in till I was like only about 1/4 of an inch square on the image. And then I found some rocks in my garden that were the perfect weight and shape to sit on the shift key and the command key on my keyboard. So I could weigh the keys down, and that would start the scrolling process on the viewer. So I didn't have to sit there and hold the keys down to scroll. I could just set the rocks on it and then let the image just scroll up. So I would record 2 or 3 minutes of it and then write a little song for it.
I'm still looking for my 3D glasses.
I don't have any.
Oh, I'll beam some over to you.
All righty.
But that doesn't do much good without anyone having 3D glasses. Do you have any? plastic. They look like this.
For
What they're
3D.
doing is they're showing you the left lens and then the right lens. They're alternating it back and forth at high speed. Right eye, the right view, and the left eye, the left view. Appears to be a continuous movement.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing with the glasses, the electronic glasses.
Look at this. Oh!
For a short time, there was 3D TV, if you remember that.
A few moments later.
All right, I'll stop looking.
Just like I remember, I was holding a guitar and playing it, and I dropped the pick. And I looked down to pick it up. The pick was gone. Where is the pick? I even took my pants off to see if it went down my somehow waist. I don't, probably went to where all those single socks go.
That's
Yeah, probably.
exactly where it went.
And all of my guitar picks.
And
too.
yeah, it went to join its brothers. Yes.
I only finger pick now.
You don't have finger pick picks?
No. I just use my fingers.
Let's see if you can lose those.
Yeah.
Not yet. My grandpa was down about 4, though.
He was down to 4 fingers?
Yeah. Too many
4
years as a
picks.
carpenter. 4 picks.
Oh, no.
Hi,
Still
everybody.
play
Welcome
better
to
than
the
me.
Brainstorm. We're talking about guitar picks.
So you wanted to discuss Mars,
Yes. The springboard topic. I want to understand what happens when we try to put humans on Mars without acknowledging that it's electric.
Well, first of all, you
Okay, I'll stop.
you got to get a color wheel so it can illuminate red and blue and all that.
I've got those 3 colors right up on the ceiling of my lab right there.
All set.
But I don't want to interrupt the show again playing with my lights. Go ahead, Steve.
The planets are electrified. That's the first thing we have to understand. But not all of them have intrinsic magnetic fields like Earth does. We have a mysteriously generated magnetic field.
Thank you for bringing that up.
People believe is being generated by a liquid molten iron nickel core in the Earth.
Dynamo.
That's spinning like a dynamo. However, the core is supposed to be something like 1900 degrees C or more, to keep it all molten and all. And it's under tremendous pressure. But those temperatures are well above what is known as the Curie point. Beyond a certain temperature level, either above or below the nominal temperature needed to generate a magnetic field and a permanent magnet. If you raise or lower that temperature, the magnetism will disappear. It will gradually fade away.
Oh.
So if you heat a magnet till it's molten, it will no longer have a magnetic field. So how the Earth's melted core is generating a magnetic field is beyond me. You got something to say, Ben?
I looked into that a little bit more this last week, and I had a discussion with my father-in-law about this. Completely on board with you that materials can lose magnetism once they supersede the Curie point. That's not. I do that in my science presentations with kids. I take needles on a string and I put them right next to a magnet, but they're not touching. And I take a blowtorch and torch the needles until they get red hot and the needles just fall away.
Falls away. Fascinating.
And then when they cool down, you can bring it back up to the magnet and they will remagnetize. It's fun.
Oh, wow.
It's a great visual description of the Curie temperature. In fact, I might just even pull that out here in just a minute, but
well, Mars, oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What I wanted to finish with is that may not be what they're talking about. The dynamo structure might just be the currents, the telluric currents within the planet itself that are generating the magnetic field. Because this is the question I have: can an electromagnetic wave, which has a magnetic field at right angles to it, lose that magnetic property? I don't think it can.
Because those are generated by oscillating dipoles. EM radiation comes from an oscillating dipole, a positive negative atom, for example, moving up and down or sideways or however it's moving, generates an electromagnetic field. Just the movement itself of the dipole.
Right, but that magnetic field that's corollary to it, that's perpendicular to it, is not lost.
No, neither is the electric field, because the electric field and the magnetic field oscillate. You know, you have the
Right.
B field and the E field, right?
Yeah.
The E
E
field
field
and
to
the
B
B
field.
field.
Yep.
This is how they propagate through space without an ether.
Wrong.
There's no need for an ether because
Wrong.
they self propagate. You know,
No, they
the
have to have
electric
an ether.
the electric field generates the magnetic field, which generates the electric field. Oh, Matt is not functioning.
Oh, he just froze on my screen too.
Yeah. So somebody's internet is having trouble.
Oh, wow. And there goes Matt. The E fields and B fields got him.
Yes. I've never, I understand you like the ether, and a lot of people do in the electric universe movement. In fact, Wall thought that the neutrinos were the ether, but he never really settled on anything with it. You know,
Right.
it's all a guess because no one can prove one way or the other if the ether exists. These so-called speed of light things that are sometimes brought out never proved one way or the other that there was an ether. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be contending about it.
Actually, can I bring something up about that?
Mhm.
Are you familiar with Dayton Miller?
No.
Okay. You might change your opinion when you read his paper. Dayton Miller postseeded or came after Michelson Morley. And for those of you that don't know, the Michelson Morley is the big experiment. Those are the two scientists who put together the interferometer that came out with the conclusion there is no ether. Dayton Miller came after him and redid the experiment with more sophisticated equipment, and he found the ether.
Hmm.
In fact, the Michelson Morley actually found the ether as well, but they interpret it as a no. I went back and read the Michelson Morley paper, and they were looking for a 30% movement. And so they said anything less than 30% means there's no ether. But Steve, you know what they did find? 27%.
Okay. Yeah, long ago, this question has been around for a long time, a long time. And long ago, I settled it in my mind by
Tell me.
reading the analyses and Michelson Morley and the objections and the proofs. What happened to Matt? Have you heard from him? Well, people say, well, you have to have an ether because to have a wave, something has to be a medium in which it waves,
That would be me.
right? However, now there is a medium in space. Space isn't a vacuum. Space is a medium, and it's a charged medium. It's electromagnetically charged, one way or the other.
But that's the ether.
Uh,
How is that not the ether?
because what's the definition of ether? Is it a medium by which through which signals can be transmitted? Is
I
that
say I vote yes on that.
okay? So light is an electromagnetic phenomenon that travels through space. Are you saying that space has to have a medium for light to travel through?
Well, that's kind of redundant because if space is the medium, then that's like saying, does the medium need a medium? No, the
No.
medium doesn't need a medium.
Space isn't a medium. Space is the expanse in which events can occur, but it isn't a thing. Space isn't a thing. Space is simply
It's an idea, right?
tool, huh?
Right.
Space
Yeah,
is just space is an idea.
it's an idea. Right.
like time, space-time. Whenever I hear the fabric of space-time, I cringe, as if it's a sheet, and they always show the sun. Yeah, they always show the sun in a rubber sheet,
That is so stupid.
warping the fabric of space-time.
I-
And then they go around talking about gravitons. Which is it? Is it a four-dimensional warping of space-time, or is it a transmitted medium through a medium called the Higgs field?
I know, Steve. All these ideas, I think that there are certain scientists out there. In fact, Sabine Hossenfelder, disclosed that there are some scientists out there who realize that this is all just bunk. This is just stupid. But if they call it out, they lose their jobs. They lose their funding. So they're just like, nah, we'll just keep going with it. No one understands it anyway. Who cares?
Exactly.
You care. I care.
Well, the general public does not care. They don't care.
Right. And that's understandable. Because there's stuff out there that you and I don't care about either.
Yes. Mostly the stuff that the general public cares about. Those are the things I do not care about, which can be inconvenient at times.
How dare you?
Exactly. I remember when I was doing some improv, and Jersey Shore was very, very popular. So a lot of Jersey Shore jokes would come up. A lot of people would ask us to make jokes about Jersey Shore, and I'm like, wow, never watched it, barely know about it. I turned it on. I went home and downloaded it or pulled it up, and didn't even get it through the opening credits before my brain threw up.
Mm.
I mean, it was just fantastically stupid.
Mm.
And maybe that's kind of the appeal. It kind of has that circus appeal. It's something so far out there that people are like, ooh, novelty, yay.
Yeah, it came from a show in England called The Only Way is Essex.
Oh, is that where it came from?
Howie. Yeah, The Only Way is Essex. And that's it's the same thing, these people from Essex, who have these accents, and they all do the weird shit that they do on Jersey Shore.
Oh,
What's he talking about
There
then?
we are.
yay.
You missed the deep discussion about Jersey Shore and the electric universe.
Jersey
Yeah.
Shore.
We're done. Thanks, everybody.
How they were a perfect illustration of electric universe concepts. You missed that.
Can you give me the recap?
No, he's kidding. He's kidding.
Oh,
We were comparing The Only Way is Essex with Jersey Shore.
Your
Anyway,
name.
yeah. The last thing I heard was you said Aether, and then
the
then
Aether.
I
Yes,
disconnected.
yes, the Aether. Aether.
Aether.
The Aether. That's
Oh,
how
yeah, I'm Irish. You're Irish now. You got your ether going.
The AE is the A, the A, not quite an E, not quite an A. It's the A, the Aether.
Hey, what's the difference between an Irish funeral and an Irish wedding? One less drunk.
Oh, I've got an Irish drunk joke for you. I can
Let's hear
even
it.
do the accent.
Alrighty.
Pat and Mike have been friends all their lives, right? And so Pat's on his deathbed and he calls his friend Michael to his side. He says, Michael, me lad, you know that case of Irish whiskey I've got in my basement? When I die, I want you to pour every drop of it on my grave. And so Michael says, Patrick, me lad, I'll do it. But do you mind if I strain it through me kidneys first?
Good stuff.
Oh, it's so bad. Oh, it's great.
Well,
So-
God invented alcohol to keep the Irish from conquering the world.
Yeah, I've heard that. Gives us those elite brains. You see, alcohol kills these slow, weak brain cells.
Yes.
Hi,
have
guys.
Irish
Well-
ancestry. Mhm.
Yeah. Welcome to
Same
the
here.
Brainstorm, where we're slamming the Irish today.
Yeah, telling racist jokes.
Why, Iota?
Oh, man. My ancestry is Scottish and English.
Yeah.
So,
I'm Irish and Welsh.
Yeah, there we are. A lot of us, we're just Northern European, you know.
Hmm.
Most of us are Northern European.
Yep.
I've got a smattering of French and Sicilian in me too, and
Really?
German.
Wow.
Okay, so
Right.
we were talking about the
The ether, the
molten
aether.
core of
The
the
aether.
world.
We started talking about how planetary magnetic fields occur. But in reality, there's only two rocky bodies in the solar system that have intrinsic magnetic fields, and that's the moon Ganymede and Earth.
Really?
All other rocky bodies have no magnetic fields other than highly weak ones generated by induction through the solar wind.
Like
That's how
Mercury.
Mercury's magnetic field is generated, and Mars has no intrinsic field. It has stripes of magnetism in its crust that look like giant claws in the southern hemisphere of Mars. If you look at the magnetic signature on Mars, so Mars has no magnetic field to prevent the solar wind from directly impinging on its surface. So there's nothing on Mars to prevent lethal radiation exposure.
So what do astronauts do about that?
Live in a lead shielded capsule as big as a trash compound or a trash dumpster. I mean,
Well,
you know how Musk said that it was going to be so comfortable and everyone's going to be floating around in these big domes and all. Then he said, no, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, possibly deadly, and you won't be living in anything bigger than a dumpster.
yeah, it seems like you'd
That
have
sucks.
to mine down and dig out tunnels or something.
Yeah, but still the problem is, see, there's a strong theory that electromagnetism drives our metabolism. That the
Is
Ben
that it?
start. Okay, you've started screen sharing. There we are.
Is
There's
that
the
it?
crustal magnetism in Mars. Yes, Mars
Well,
is
that's pretty
crustal
messed
magnetism.
up.
Yes,
Oh
so
wow.
you see, there's nothing in whole areas of Mars. There's no magnetic field at all,
Would
and
it
in
help
some
them to
areas,
land?
huh?
Would it help them to land in an area where the magnetic field is strongest?
No, because to finish my thought, the electromagnetic field of Earth is what's thought to drive our metabolism. Because there's what's called Earth's fair weather field. For every meter, the voltage rises by 400, or between 2 and 400 volts. So between your feet, if you're 6 feet tall, between your feet and your head is going to be a voltage differential between 4 and 800 volts.
Oh, so
So
that'll drive
this
current.
potential, there's a potential from your head to your feet. And that this is why, to sideswipe a little bit, earthing is supposed to be the new big thing where you walk around barefoot and let the ground's electric field penetrate your body.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I got a
the
blanket.
principle is that because this drives our metabolism, in other words, our mitochondrial motors. There are motors in the mitochondrial membranes,
With
and they're
propellers.
spinning as fast as a jet engine to allow proton uh, pumping from the interior to the exterior of the mitochondria. And this is what's also powering ADP to ATP synthesis inside your mitochondria. No one has any clue why these things are spinning, what makes them spin. And the only thing people can come up with is their little electric motors. They have a stator and a rotator in them. And the way they're powered is through proton movement across potential
And we already know that happens with the proton pump.
embedded in the mitochondrial wall. Yes.
Isn't that kind of what's happening with a galaxy too, or even a solar system?
I think it is. Yeah, I think I think it's all the same processes. I mean, not
It's
to cut to all.
turtles.
Not, I mean, to cut it to the end chapter. Yes, everything's electric.
It's turtles
Absolutely,
all the way down, right?
all the way down. Can I just clarify? Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you there for a second. I just wanted to clarify something. on the Fairweather field, when I first looked that up, I was taught 100 volts. Then I heard Michael Claridge say 200 volts. Now you're saying 400. So I wanted to see what
It varies.
it does vary, and that's the thing.
Underneath a thunderstorm, it's 10,000 volts.
Right.
Wouldn't your
That's like
altitude have something to do with it?
Huh?
Wouldn't your altitude also play a factor?
In what?
If you're
And what the voltage
higher
is,
up,
yeah.
How the
closer to
field
the
affects you?
yeah, like if you're closer to the ionosphere because you live in Colorado, for example, would you have stronger voltage differential, or would that make a difference?
I don't know. It might.
I'm gonna
A lot of it is the atmospheric differences rather than the place where you are differences. So above the Rockies, there could be a much more intense electromagnetic field because the Rockies are so crystalline.
Hmm.
You know, they have quartz. They're mostly made of quartz. And you know, when you squeeze quartz, you get an electric field.
Oh wow.
right.
all you
Yeah,
have to do
the
is
piezoelectric effect.
Yeah, the piezoelectric effect, exactly. In fact, if you've ever heard of a scientist named Friedman Freund, he did a paper
Yes,
called Rocks That Crackle,
that can
Sparkle, and
sparkle.
Glow.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. His theory was that you can detect earthquake precursors because there's going to be a flood of ions coming out of the ground because the ground is being compressed. So all the quartz is going to generate an electric field, and all these electrons are going to come floating out of the ground, especially through fractures.
Oh,
So
that's wild.
he was thinking you could find where earthquakes might be generated. So he and I had a long correspondence, and he was unaware. You know what a
Really?
field mill is? It's a little bulb that looks like a light bulb, and inside is a little spinning vanes. They're black on one side and silver on the other. And if you put it on in the sun, they'll start to spin.
Yep.
So this is due to electrostatic effects. So you can discharge these things by exposing them to an electric current. So he was unaware that you could use a field mill without being grounded because the majority, but field mills have to be grounded in order to detect the differential in the electric field. But there are field mills that don't need to be grounded.
What's a
So
field mill?
it's what I just described. It detects electric fields. It spins in the presence of electromagnetism,
Hmm.
and it can be
Okay.
discharged. What you found, look up field mill on your Google images that you just saw. But anyway, Freund, well, we talked, and I told him about the field mills that didn't need grounding. So his next thing was to put an ungrounded field mill on a Cessna and fly it over the San Andreas Fault, at varying altitudes to see if he could detect any of the compression areas that were starting to build up. And sure enough, yes, he could.
Oh wow.
I found it, and yes, this is cool. This is why I love talking to you, Steve, because I learned stuff that I've never heard of before. It's like, why have I never heard this before?
Because there's so much stuff that it's impossible to
Right.
know it all.
Oh, wait, which screen am I sharing?
A really cool one.
Sharing your
desktop
screen, your
Okay, that was not the screen I was supposed to share. It actually has the device up.
I'll stick a picture of it up in the video.
Yeah, let's do that because this is too clumsy. Field mill.
But okay, so
Wow, that field mill looks amazing.
we have these electric fields. We have these electric fields on Earth that are driving our metabolism. This is the theory. Nobody has been able to prove it, but nobody can determine where the electricity is coming from to cause flagella to spin, for example. Those are another electric motor. A flagella, like in an E. coli bacteria. What, Ben?
Finish your thought, and then I'll interject.
No, I just did. They have a stator and a rotor.
Right.
And they're powered by protein pumps.
When you say that no one has found where the energy is, I think someone has, and I think a couple of people have. Dr. Gerald Pollack. In his work. Remember Easy Water?
Right.
Easy Water is a battery. It is charge potential. It's right there. And he says it is, in fact, is in his book, Cells, Gels, and the Biology of Life, which I haven't read yet, but I'm trying to get it. I think he goes into that. Now, I don't know if he's going to say that they're going to stator and spin, but he has clearly demonstrated that when infrared light, red light, hits water inside your body or attached to any what's it called, hydrophilic substance, it will separate and cause a charge.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why I have these in my lab. These are clear lids. They've got water in them, and they're sitting under a red light. I've got one right there. I've got one over there. Drinking easy water all day, every day. So maybe we
Pretty
do know.
soon you're gonna be a breatharian before you know. You're gonna be sitting under infrared lights and just breathing.
That's some kind of new hippie.
Pollock thinks that's real, you know. Pollock thinks breatharians are real. This is the strange thing I've always noticed, just as a sidelight, about brilliant people who have these brilliant ideas. They also have the kookiest ideas I have ever heard. You know, there are certain people within the electric universe movement who think that backwards talking is real, that your subconscious will embed in your speech patterns. If you listen to it backwards, you'll say the things you're really thinking, but in backwards speech.
I just saw a YouTube about that.
Yeah. And there's other people who think that there's energy levels below the level of the hydrogen atom that are called hydrinos. And these hydrinos are supposed to be an energy source. But of course, and then there's the guys who think that there's a thing called a twister. There's no such thing as the atoms or the energies that we think of, but they're these multidimensional things that twist around each other, sort of like cosmic strings.
That's what Eileen was kind of talking about. She was talking about charges, how the ether is made up of charge, and it
charge field. Yes.
Yeah, and it bunches up into like knots, and that's what mass is.
Yes.
Steve, yes. I love making fun of what I consider stupid ideas. I'm right with you. I mean, that's kind of why Matt and I started this whole thing, is we wanted to just poke fun at the standard model. But there's one problem with poking too much fun at outlandish ideas, and that is that it blinds you to other possibilities that might be there. And it also makes the assumption that we know exactly what everything is, and I don't think we do.
No. Well, I'm part of the philosophy that says anything goes. You have to be able to express any ideas. Otherwise, like you just said, you'll miss something if you don't allow it to happen. I forget the name. I always forget these philosophers' names. The guy I was thinking of the last time was Schopenhauer.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
The nihilist.
What we believe in nothing, Lebowski.
Schopenhauer. But, and this time I'm thinking of somebody else, but I can't think of his name. But the idea is that...
we'll just have to have you on again, and then you'll remember that one during that episode.
Yeah, you'll if you look up his name will pop up if you look up the philosophy of anything goes.
Right now, keep talking.
Yeah,
it's got it.
So you've got to be able to think outside the box. In other words, the last time also I spoke about jumping off the shoulders of giants. We have to get away from the vested, hallowed halls of science. You know, where the priestly garb is de rigueur. You know, there's the only way to be accepted is to follow the dogma. You know, this is ridiculous. When we talk about dogma and science together in one breath, this is absurd.
It is.
You know,
it's those people are all ridiculous. That's why I worship Walt.
Well, Albert Camus. I'm a big fan of Albert Camus. You know, who said absurdism. The absurd is the reality. You know, he has a book called The Myth of Sisyphus, And the only thing, because there's no God, of course, in most of these philosophers, there's no God, so there's no overarching idea or ideal for us to reach for.
Right.
So his idea is that we're all Sisyphus. We're pushing the rock up the hill. We're shoving it up the hill and up the hill. And once we get to the top, the rock falls back down. And we have to go to the bottom and start again. Well, Camus said the only way to really exist is to be happy with the rock.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah, the only way to be satisfied in life is to recognize that our only purpose is to push the rock. So, fuck you to reality. We're going to push the rock. It doesn't make any difference if people think it's a punishment that we're alive or a blessing that we're alive. The rock is the only real truth, and the only choice we have is to push it.
Accept your suffering.
It's going to fall back down. Yes, this is suffering.
Accept your suffering. Yeah.
This is the Buddhist idea of suffering. In fact, it's Camus' idea is almost an opposition to Buddhism. Buddhism would have you lean against the rock at the bottom and just relax. That's what Buddhism would have you do.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yes. There's no striving is ridiculous. Striving is meaningless. Goals are meaningless. There's nothing to strive for. Their whole idea is to get rid of striving entirely. Leave your life, the goer, the one who goes. Remember the album cover of the Moody Blues, back in their first album where the Buddhist monk is sitting there and his head is flowing out into the universe as he's enjoying the fact that he's free.
Right.
Free of the cosmic wheel, free of reincarnation. And that's the goal of most religions other than Christianity.
Which seems strange to me because I expect that if you were an eternal being like God, you would be insanely bored almost right away. It's like if you're playing a video game, as soon as you reach the top level and get all the best gear, the game instantly becomes boring.
Yeah, I don't know how many video games I bought for my tablet, and as soon as I conquered them, I never played them again.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Exactly. I've noticed that for someone like me who's like on the ADHD side of things, the moment I love puzzles and I love challenges, but it's not the doing them that is the rewarding part. It's the figuring them out mentally. And as soon as I do that, as soon as I've got it figured out, everything is downhill from there. Everything is downhill. I mean, I actually have to physically put it together and physically fix it. But
it's a big insight into human nature. We're very adaptive creatures, and whatever we have, we adapt to it, and it becomes normal. So people think that if they got millions of dollars, they're going to be happy. Well, you might be less stressed in some ways, but you're going to be more stressed in other ways. And you're not going to be any more happy because you'll adapt to it. It'll become normal, and then you'll just have more to be afraid of.
Like, I love steak, but once I decided to go keto, I got really bored eating steak.
Yeah,
really?
I didn't even want to eat it.
Wow.
Like, I don't want this New York strip cooked medium rare.
There's the carnivore diet where it's just red meat. It's supposed to be wonderful for you, but all you can have is beef, salt, and water. I'd rather die personally.
You don't want it until you try it, Buster.
I don't believe in living to eat. I believe in eating to live, but also you have to have some joy in life. If there's no chocolate cake in life, there's something wrong.
There's something wrong with you.
Yes.
I'm a backpacker and I like to go on like hardcore trips for, a week or two. And it's really an exercise in suffering where you're carrying an 80-pound pack for miles and miles.
You're Sisyphus.
Yeah, and what it boils down to is the reason you do it is because once you get to camp and you sit down, like no other human being on earth has ever felt so good sitting down. You know what I mean? And everything you eat is just gourmet and delicious. It's stuff that would taste terrible when you're at home, but when you're out in the mountains, it's wonderful. And
Yeah,
it really drives home the point that it's our suffering that shines a light on how wonderful things are.
well, that's a very theological viewpoint, is
So
that
I'm
we're,
breaking up.
we're here to suffer. The fact of sin, makes us suffer. If there was no sin, there'd be no suffering because, there'd be no punishment for our rebellion, that kind of thing. That's a very
And the game would be boring.
and
And
there
the
would
game
be
would be boring.
There would be no game.
Yeah,
exactly.
In much theology, there's a viewpoint that Shaitan, who's called Satan in English, is a creation of God, and in fact is God. That Shaitan is God in his adversarial role. God recognized that
he's the villain.
he had to be an adversary as well. Otherwise, there'd be nothing for us to push against. There'd be no rock.
Every server needs its villains.
Yes.
When
There'd
you
be
say
no
that,
rock, so we don't be Buddhists.
that just makes me realize that, again, maybe that whole concept of good and evil stems from when Venus went crazy. Because you
Maybe.
can still see the same thing. Venus was happy, lovely, beautiful, and then her terrible aspect. You're like, wait a minute, this
She
is the whole
became a
concept.
Gorgon.
Same thing. Like,
Happens
wait
once a month.
Oh my
did
god.
all religions
Yes.
come from the breakup of the polar configuration? Yeah, I think they did.
One of Dave Talbot's most brilliant observations, of course, was his worldwide symbolism.
Yep.
When you watch Remembering the End of the World,
Yeah.
and all the time he spent in libraries, like Velikovsky did, looking up worldwide symbols like the wheel, the squatter man, the solar symbol, with the rays coming out, the martini glass with Saturn and Venus and Mars all superimposed on each other. Well, that's what Ev called it, the martini glass back in the day. I don't know.
I didn't know that's what he called it.
The olive being the green Venus and the pimento being the red Mars, and
Gotcha.
Saturn being the glass itself with the olive and the
Oh,
pimento.
I see that. Yeah.
The vessel.
Yes. So anyway, we stray away from Mars quite a bit, but it's all related. Everything gets related. Once you take a step off the path, you're on some other journey.
I know, but that's what's so beautiful about the electric universe. It's like what Wall said. It is a complete cosmology. It's a cosmology in the truest word. It touches every corner of existence, which is exactly what a cosmology should do.
Yes. So
And that's why I don't know about Matt, but that's why I love talking to you, Steve, is because we can start here and end up way over there.
Yes.
And then come all the way back without it being awkward, because the electric universe ties everything together. Beautiful.
Yeah. I want to touch on one thing you said, Steve, about the devil being God too. Whether you believe in traditional religion or you believe in simulation theory, for me, the easiest way to conceptualize, God being this eternal thing is that, when you go to sleep at night and you have a dream, every character in that dream, they might seem like your uncle or your wife or whoever it might be in the dream, but they're all you because they're all happening in your head. And if life is a dream in the mind of God, that makes every character in the server God.
Yes. And in fact, Christian theology says that.
Yes.
Jesus
is like a perfect symbol of it.
He told his disciples, has it not been said you are gods?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have the ability to judge right from wrong.
Yeah.
That's the essential characteristic of God. Is
reason.
The divider between right and wrong. Otherwise there's no morality if there's no God. Mm-hmm. There can be no morality. There can only be situational ethics.
Fair enough.
Since we're talking about Mars, Matt, did you know that Steve had his own Christian group? He was like Steve, you say, you've told me that before.
Yeah, no, he told us last time.
He did?
I put the little cult outfit on him.
Oh, that's right.
People would give me money and stuff like that.
That's right.
The great Bhagwan.
The cult of Martian Steve.
Yes, Martian Steve. That's a good nickname, Martian Steve.
This will be the icon, the three eyes of God.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
And
So
and
if we don't require a molten iron dynamo in the center of the Earth to generate our electric field,
Good comeback.
uh, that means that the entire layout of what the inside of the Earth looks like is probably nonsense with the mantle, the crust, and the
no one knows if that's true or not.
yeah, because we've only ever been able to drill, what is it, 14 miles down into the crust, and that's like
Well,
the
they
record.
get it from seismic waves, P
Yeah.
waves and all that traveling through the Earth.
Mhm.
But
And when I heard Wall say this back years ago, and I looked into this, it was through seismic waves that they did find this, like what you said, but some of the seismic waves acted like the Earth was hollow. It's
Yep.
like they were bouncing off an inner surface, and they're like, that can't be right. You're like, wait, why are you disputing your own data? That's what it says. That's what it shows.
Mhm.
Let's throw that over with Halt NARP stuff.
Yeah, personally, I think the center of the Earth is plasma.
A plasmoid, like a
Yeah.
pinch point. That's what
Just
I think too.
plasma in general, however it's manifesting. Because I like Maki marbles, you encase an electrified something or other in sand and iron.
Yeah.
And that seems similar to what Earth has done, is encased something in there. You got a Maki marble. We
Let me
were
show
like
you a better
sand
version
and
of
iron. In fact, those are the two most common elements on Earth, right? Sand and iron, or molecules. I mean, iron oxides and silicon dioxide. Is that the core, the sand core with the iron shell?
So it looks
or
like.
vice versa. I'm not sure. I just picked it up, but you can clearly see that it has a shell around it.
Yeah. Something similar to those are Apache tears. You ever seen those? They're obsidian droplets that you'll find on the desert.
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
Interesting.
Where do you find those?
Mostly in like Kern County, in the northern California deserts, out in Nevada and such like that.
Apache tubes? Is that
They're
what you call
called
them?
Apache tears.
Apache
They're
tears.
little obsidian droplets that
Oh.
they're like tektites. They flew through the air, and assumed an elongated spherical shape and have a hollow rear end, a concave rear end.
Like a pity party.
I'm looking it up on Wikipedia right now, and it doesn't show that feature. It looks more like a molar,
Oh,
which is, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that's what it's there.
I have a whole bunch of them.
You do?
Yeah, mine look like tektites.
Yours
Oh,
are wrong, Steve.
Yes, I found them in the wrong place.
Are they close? Is that something you can like take a couple minutes and go grab?
I think so. Let me look.
Okay, we'll just put it on pause and
All
go
right.
grab them.
A few moments later.
Thing is like, after Jeffrey Drum destroyed my Lighthouse of Alexandria hopes, I'm still clinging to the hope that we have like a giant plasmoid in the center of the planet that acts like a sun in Hollow World.
That would be awesome.
Wouldn't it?
That would be. You need to write a story about that. You've done the other direction. Now go
I'm sure.
inside.
There was a whole Dungeons and Dragons world called Hollow World with the same idea. I don't think they were thinking Electric Universe stuff, but they had a sun like in the center of the world. And, since we have a giant Birkeland current coming in to the poles, why wouldn't there be a pinch point in the center? A plasmoid.
I don't know why there would. Well, it's interesting you bring that up because that's the actual experiment that I'm trying to do right over there in my vacuum chamber, the one that I was texting you about earlier. Is we're
Don't
trying
destroy
to
the
create.
world.
What's that?
Don't destroy the world.
Oh, why not? Oh, you're always such a downer.
All right, fine. At least wait till we get to Mars and then.
Is okay. We're trying to. I've got the plasma stream, and for those of you that don't know, you can follow me on Facebook and you can watch these live because I post a lot of videos, or on TikTok. Wow, shameless plugs there. But I've created a plasma arc, and then what we're trying to do is suspend little nodules of stuff inside it to watch what it does. Because if you're right, Matt, and the Birkeland current does pinch point at mass, we should see something like that in that experiment.
Yeah, if you've got a really little, you'd have to be in a vacuum chamber, wouldn't you?
And it is in a vacuum.
Okay.
It's in a vacuum chamber. But here's the other thing. Steve said this earlier, and I'm kind of with him. I'm not entirely sure that space is a vacuum.
No, I don't think it's a complete vacuum. But
It's clearly not a complete vacuum.
but neither is a vacuum chamber.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a question? Did you say how?
No. I was saying, and neither is a vacuum chamber.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. In fact, the last experiment I did last night, and I don't know if I sent you guys a video of this, it showed I have iron filings at the bottom of the chamber, and I pulled a vacuum. That means I, evacuated all the air, and then I electrified it, and you could see movement in there. And we figured out that it wasn't the absence of the air. It was the fact that there were still air molecules in there that were reacting with the electric field and pushing the iron filings around, which tells us that it wasn't a complete vacuum, and a complete vacuum probably would be really dead and boring and energetically neutral.
If it even exists.
Yeah. So the idea that space is a vacuum, no. Oh, and here he comes.
Because to be a vacuum. Oh, that's all right.
I find them.
No big.
Oh.
We found some online. Kind of.
Yeah, Steve, I can show you what I found up online. I don't know if they match yours. Matt, finish your thought. What were you going to say?
I can't remember.
It was something about a vacuum.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying, wouldn't a complete true vacuum be the absence of dark mode plasma? And and as far as we know, there's no way to get rid of the dark mode plasma.
Right. Okay.
It's the water we swim in.
There can be no true vacuum.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Steve, here, look at this.
Yeah. Top left, those are the kind I have. They have some white concretions on them.
Oh, look right here.
That one, yeah. They're often embedded in what's that stuff called?
Amber?
No.
Obsidian?
No. They are obsidian.
Oh.
The whitish coloring is the material they get embedded, that they're embedded in.
Calcite?
It's the stuff you mix with soil to make potting soil.
Potassium?
No, it's those white, fluffy. It's
Diatonetrous earth.
Or the styrofoam beads?
Yeah, they're not styrofoam. They're
no, they wouldn't be styrofoam.
No, they're a mineral.
Lye.
Not lye.
Not lime.
No, it's made of asbestos. In fact, they used to use it in insulation, like in your attic insulation.
Wow.
When they blow in the cellulose, they'd also blow in this other material, like styrolite or some material like that.
And it's a natural material?
Yeah.
It's a natural mineral?
And Apache tears are often found embedded in it.
Wow.
It's an asbestos material.
Great. Where did you get your Apache tears?
I found them in the desert in Kern County, up by
in California.
Yeah.
Perlite.
Yes.
Matt.
Who needs to think now? We have grok.
Matt
Perlite.
with the win.
Perlite's a mineral. Yes.
Our AI overlords
Dangerous.
for the win.
Perlite.
Dangerous.
Steve, were these sitting on the ground, or did you have to dig them up?
No, they had been weathered out. They're deposits. You know how in the chalk cliffs of Dover, there are flint nodules?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, well, the chalk cliffs of Dover, you'll find lines in the chalk of flint nodules, all just in a perfect arrangement. Like the Apache tears weather out of sandstone, right? You find them embedded in sandstone cliffs. Often they're even cut in half, right, Ben?
Wow.
That's
Sorry,
true.
I'm just listening to you say that, and now I have to look it up as you're saying that. I want to.
Well, like Moriaki boulders in New Zealand are weather out of the cliff, and roll down to the beach. And what are they? Cannonballs. They used to call cannonballs. You find those in the Dakotas, where they erode out of the cliff. They call them concretions. They're these big, like 3 foot diameter solid stone balls, and they erode out of the cliffs.
What?
There's a big place in Alberta, Canada, that has a whole bunch of them. What's that? Yeah, there you go. Cut in half.
Is it?
There's the iron shell.
So the outside would erode, and then whatever this inner ball is would just roll out
Along with the black part.
You're right, along with the black part.
The lightning penetrates the material and reforms it. It's restructured. It gets transformed.
Do you think those things could have been formed by lightning strikes to begin with?
What?
You've got, yeah. Imagine you've got a lot of charge flowing through the ground, and it sucks up all the mineral content and forms little spherules.
This was a catastrophic. These were during the catastrophic periods.
Right.
These materials formed. They're kind of one off. Once they're made, they're there, and that's it. They don't get made again.
Yeah.
They're not these. Everybody talks about gradualism in the mainstream. It took. They were rolled deposits of minerals in this stream or something that gradually accumulate. That's why they call them concretions. And then they got somehow embedded in a matrix without being destroyed by whatever created the matrix. And then they start wearing out.
That is so asinine. Every time I hear that, they're like, oh yes, it eroded away. It's like, wait a minute. You're telling me the erosion took down this entire mountain, but left this little tiny little thing here that you can walk up and scratch?
Yes.
Well, you're not taking into consideration the dark energy packets they're concealed in.
Yes.
Protects them from
yes.
Along the plasma scaffolding or whatever the hell they said. Oh, geez.
So, Steve, could it be that there is a plasmoid in the center of the Earth that is involved in linear processes and is actually creating elements inside the Earth? Could that be where some material comes from inside the Earth, is actual transmutation on our plasmoid in the center of our Earth?
Possibly. That's a hard question to answer. It takes into account so many aspects of all different kinds of things.
Well, if you can grant me that there's a plasmoid in there, could there then also be giant gorillas running around and large dinosaurs?
An inverted world. Where they live on the inner shell.
Yes, with the lizard people.
Yeah,
Yes.
careful, Steve. Finn's setting you up for he's setting you up.
Yeah.
You're going to be all over Professor Dave.
Matt,
Professor Dickhead.
Professor Dickhead.
Ooh.
Did you?
Matt, when you say a plasmoid, is that the shape you're envisioning?
Yeah,
Yes.
but with a star in the middle.
Yes, with the Earth's interior sun.
Yes.
Who was that famous Arctic explorer that said he found the entrance to the underworld? Perry? Bird?
It's Bird, isn't it?
It's
It was
Bird,
Bird.
Admiral Bird. Yes.
He claimed he found the big arched entryway.
I believe him.
And you could walk down just like they did in Journey to the Center of the Earth. You could find that volcano in Iceland and start your trip.
I'd laugh, but I don't know what to believe. But for all I know, it's true.
The one of the other YouTube channels that both Matt and I really like is called the Y-Files. They did an episode on that where they tell the story and then you get all excited and then he just debunks the crap out of it and you're just deflated. I'm like, oh, screw you.
Yeah, the trouble is, though, as I saw the Y-Files where he did the Electric Universe, and, I used to think his stuff was really well researched until I saw that one.
And
Exactly.
it turns out when you actually know about something, when someone's bullshitting, it's pretty easy to see. So I expect he did most of his research for the Electric Universe over on Professor Dickhead's website.
Or they cherry pick. They come up with, like when Shermer, Michael Shermer,
Yeah.
when he went to the Thunderbolts conference,
Mm.
he could talk about was people with colloidal silver ideas coming up and cornering him in the hallways and trying to tell him, it was you, Ben.
I used it too.
You too. You turned Michael Shermer off. Oh my God.
It was us, yes.
If it was an elegant simplicity, I think I was still drinking colloidal silver back then, so it could have been me.
I make colloidal silver. I just took some this morning. I manufacture my own. It's right over there. It's really easy to do.
You're looking a little blue, Ben. No, I made my own too. I had one of the generators.
That guy on YouTube that turned blue. Yeah.
But I guess he was using tap water.
Huh?
I guess he was using tap water.
Oh.
If you use water with minerals in it, the silver bonds to them, and then they don't flush out of your system, and they mess your skin.
You get deposits. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
But I don't know if that's. I pretty much stopped taking it after
What
that.
about
I'll still take it when I'm sick, though.
Does hex water have anything to do with colloidal silver, or is that more of a Pollock kind of thing?
That sounds like a Gerald Pollock idea,
or like something a witch might do to you.
Where's Eileen?
Hexagonal water.
Oh, hexagonal. Okay, that's better.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to go back to Mars somehow? And
let's do it.
We talked about the electromagnetic field. That was leading me into the problems you asked about people landing on Mars, and this was leading me into that problem. Because the electromagnetic field generates our metabolic activity and powers those little motors in our mitochondria, trillion upon trillion upon trillion of them, all going on right now. That's just beyond comprehension.
So there's a good chance people will just die on Mars.
They'll just die. Exactly.
They'll fade away and die.
They'll have no idea. They'll have no idea why.
No, they'll start getting sick and they won't know why. In fact, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson on somebody's podcast the other day say, we need a magnetic field on Mars if we're going to live there. And the guy said, well, how are we going to do that? And
is this where he said they're going to like haul up iron ore or something? Or
some copper, some coil. We're going to need coils on Mars. So
to generate a magnetic field?
To create, yes, locally. So inside our domes, we can have a central coil that's energizing an electromagnetic field that we can live in.
Is that feasible?
I mean, we're barely going to get people to Mars as it is. I mean, and then have them accompanied by several megatons of copper. I mean, and by the way, what about on their way? What about when the sun lets loose with an X 1.9? And it's heading toward them?
Bye-bye.
They'll get cooked. They've actually said that you're going to have a lead-lined escape room in the Martian capsule on its way so that you can all 6 of you, or however many, 4, 6, can all climb into this phone booth in the middle of the ship and stay there for days.
Would iodine pills help?
You make me happy.
This is something different than
nuclear radiation.
Than particle radiation.
Okay.
It's ionizing radiation.
Oh, what's the difference?
When it hits your cell walls, it destroys them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you got different levels of radiation, that impact your cells. Ionization is just like a really strong punch.
Yeah, it's an electric charge.
Gotcha.
You're getting hit by little electric charges.
And the electric charge is big enough to cause damage.
Yeah,
I see.
They knock pieces out of your DNA and stuff like that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I saw a television show called The Expanse because it had cool space battles in it, but they had one of the few places that was colonized was Ganymede.
Mm.
And I expect that's because of the magnetic field that it has.
they may have surreptitiously said that in the show or implied it, that that's why. But also, it's bigger than Mercury. So
Ganymede is bigger than Mercury?
yes,
How did
So
Mercury get the status of a planet then?
it's orbiting Jupiter,
No, how did Mercury get the status of a planet?
orbiting the sun.
And that's the rule. So if you orbit the sun, you're a planet.
and you're not Pluto.
And you're not
And-
Pluto or Eris.
And you don't have a twin.
Maki Maki or any of the others. Sedna. There's so many.
Nibiru.
There's so many of them out there now that they've found. You know, ice planets out there, or what do they call them now?
Gas giant.
Pseudo planets.
CROs.
Dwarf planets.
Dwarf planets.
Yeah, beyond trans-Neptunian objects.
TROs. Yep. Or TNOs. Whatever.
TN.
I want to get back to one thing, and it's still bugging me. Is there a Birkeland current connecting Mars and the sun?
No.
Is that why Mars doesn't have a decent magnetic field?
No. It's because magnetic fields have to be induced in some way. And the induction process did not occur on the other rocky bodies.
How would the induction process happen?
How do they make permanent magnets? They take a lump of iron and they expose it to a low voltage, high amperage magnetic field. And that's how you create a permanent magnet. You start oscillating the electrons inside the iron. I mean, that's how AC current works, right? The atoms don't go anywhere. The electrons don't go anywhere. They just oscillate back and forth. And that movement is enough to engender electric current flow.
Do you think the close contact between Venus, Mars, and Earth might have something to do with why we have a magnetic field and Mars doesn't?
Maybe.
Could that cataclysm have induced a magnetic field in us if there wasn't one already?
You saw the magnetic remnants on the Martian crust. You know, it looks like a claw, you know, raked across Mars. So some variable electromagnetic induction occurred on the surface of Mars. You know, Mars is mostly iron and silicon dioxide. It's made of hematite and magnetite and quartz. That's what it's made of. The quartz acts like a pavement, a bedrock pavement, and then on top you'll find all the dunes of iron oxide, which is hematite.
Yeah.
And magnetite. The two are the most common surface minerals on Mars.
Well, and one thing about the dunes that I need to bring up that both of you have talked about, and I've talked about on separate occasions, Steve, you've shown me in previous conversations that those dunes are not like soft sand dunes, like you couldn't run up and roll down. They're frozen in place. They're solidified. And then Matt, you told me about the dunes up in your neck of the woods that are indicative of giant waves that came in and whatnot, but they're also solid as well.
Where?
Eastern Washington.
Oh yeah, of course, Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
You know, Randall Carlson's mega flood theory, you know, about how that was shaped. But I think it's all electricity.
Oh, you think that was from electric induction, not a flood?
Channel scablands were not flood features, they're electric features. Yes. Yep.
I think to
know everybody. What?
No, I'm not fighting, Steve. I'm not fighting you on this.
No,
what I'm
I
saying
understand.
is that when we had those huge electromagnetic events, there was consequences, and I think part of the consequences was it moved water. Now, I'm not saying that the water formed those dunes like we're talking about. It came after, and there was clearly catastrophic flooding. But what shaped the dunes? I'm right with you. I think it's electromagnetic.
Ripples. You're talking about the ripples, right? That you see in these areas, these giant ripples that are supposedly similar to the bottom.
Just like you see when you get close to the shore on a beach.
Yeah, like the bottom of a river, you know.
Yeah, they're called ripple. Oh crap! I put it in my last video. I can't remember though.
Potholes.
Ripples are called ripples.
They have the giant potholes too, that are supposedly like the bottom of a river, you know, where stones and such swirl around and dig into the riverbed. But yeah, the channeled scablands, that's a whole nother kettle of fish right there. I mean, people isolate it to eastern Washington, but look at Nevada. Look at those mountains in Nevada that just march across the state one after the other.
Yep.
If you drive through there, you go up one and then you go down the other side, you go up another one and down, and it's just over and over this roller coaster of these things. And then look at your neck of the woods, Ben. I mean, my God, southwestern Utah is like a geologist's nightmare.
Yeah.
What the hell? This guy that just died recently, Desert Drifter?
Oh yeah, the guy that they never found or something.
No, he got in a car accident and
Oh, is that what it was?
got brain damage. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of someone else then.
Yeah, they had to take him off life support. But anyway, he looks on Google Earth, and finds the most isolated canyons he can find and goes out into them and looks around. And these areas, I mean, you know how the side of a sandstone cliff will have these blackened streaks through it, like it's been scorched.
Yeah,
They call it black or desert varnish.
desert varnish. Yes.
It's
fulgurites, right?
It's the edges of the fulgurites. The fulgurite, the lightning bolt that carved the channel, that left the wall. It's the edge of that fulgurite, the heat that melted and blackened the wall of the canyon. And then you'll see these canyons will have these lines of popped bubbles all over the place in the sandstone. They go for miles. Big ones, small ones.
Just the material boiling?
From what?
Tefoni.
No, not the boxwork. Not the similarity, not the boxwork per se, but melting. You can see it's all rounded and pillowed, and then there'll be holes melted like popped bubbles. Velikovsky used to think craters on the moon were popped bubbles because of their roundness, their perfect roundness.
Right. And they might be.
Oh, yeah. There's domes on the moon that are unpopped bubbles.
Or
is that what the domes on
the domes on the moon are unpopped bubbles?
Those are probably space Nazis.
Elytra.
Probably drill into them and find gas.
See, and this touches on something human, because I have read about the domes on the moon, and I've always kind of chalked that up to woo. But Steve, I think you hit it. I mean, Matt's version is way more interesting than just geologic events causing bubbles. And I can see why people would rather go with the space aliens rather.
Well, remember the moon continues to be incandescent. Over 40% of its light is infrared, not reflected light from the sun. It's
amazing
emission infrared light.
That's amazing.
And it rings like a bell.
And why would it do that?
Because it's hollow.
Yeah, because it's hollow.
Or because the space aliens are having a rave.
Yes. They're stomping on the outside.
The Fifth Reich is up there biding their time.
Yeah.
Nazis in jetpacks.
That's awesome.
Okay,
so Mars is not connected with a Birkeland current. Then what causes is Earth connected with the Birkeland current? I mean,
well, the field-aligned current encompasses the solar system.
What the hell is the field-aligned current?
Birkeland current. Birkeland currents technically are the ones that come down on one side of the aurora and then go back to space on the other. That's what Birkeland discovered, and that's what we call Birkeland currents. They're field-aligned currents, an electromagnetic field aligning the currents. So as electricity passes through plasma, it generates an electromagnetic field which compresses the electric current, causing a filament.
Mm-hmm.
And those filaments travel. Those are field-aligned currents. They wrap around each other like twisted pair.
Yeah. But they're only attracted to certain planets because they don't go to Mars and they don't go to other rocky bodies that don't have a magnetic field.
The field-aligned current encompasses the solar system. The solar system is inside it.
Well, yeah, we're in a giant Birkeland current.
Yeah, we're in that field-aligned current, yes.
Okay.
But from the sun, smaller filaments come out and touch some.
From the major current flows coming from the sun, you get transverse electric discharge, which is called corona discharge. They come out at right angles from the main current channel. That's why you see on Mars often, you'll see a huge canyon and then these sharp right angle side canyons coming off it. The same with the Grand Canyon. You see that coming from the Grand Canyon. Yes. See, these side canyons, Candor Chasma, for example, are bigger than the Grand Canyon on Earth, and they are only a side canyon.
Yeah.
Caprotes Chasma is also one of them. That's a side canyon.
So just for fun, for those people that don't know, this is, of course, just a model, and this is Valles Marineris. That's what we're talking about. But that distance right there is longer than the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the United States.
Huge. Okay, so field-aligned currents.
Marineris, named after the Mariner spacecraft.
Oh, that's cool.
That first imaged it.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit. Field-aligned currents. Mm-hmm. Is that way? And I've wanted to talk to Don Scott about this and haven't yet. But is this? So I got two knitting needles. Here's the E field. Here's the current. Here's the B field. Is that what we're talking about?
No.
Okay.
We're talking about separate filaments.
What's that?
Separate filaments. Each filament is a field-aligned current because as the electricity is passing through the plasma, it's doing
condensing.
To it,
Oh my God.
It's falling into the dark energy scaffolding.
Shut up.
Made of dark matter members.
Yeah.
No, hold on. I really want to understand this because I've looked it up and I've talked to other people about it. I still don't freaking understand what a field-aligned current is. So you got a current. You got a current flowing. And if the current's flowing, then you've got a B field, the electromagnetic field at right angles. You're shaking your head. What did I say wrong?
No, you have the circular fields compressing the filament,
Oh.
Your needle is this. That's what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of cylinders.
Around the outside of the needle are the circular ring currents. You've heard of ring current?
Yeah.
There are ring currents that cause solar flares. They compress the filamentary aspect of the solar flare as it travels through the electrified atmosphere of the sun. So you get these, like the 60,000 mile wide filaments connecting to Earth. That's within the major field line current. Let's just call them Birkeland currents because that'll be less confusing. You know what a Birkeland current is. So it's a Birkeland current. I'm just
counter-rotating sheaths.
Yes. So I'm just saying technically what a Birkeland current is. And generally it's a field-aligned current. A field-aligned current is a Birkeland current.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just still trying to struggle with the idea of what does it mean to say a field-aligned current?
Electromagnetic field aligns the current in the direction of travel. They twist around each other, right? They move through the cosmos because they're compressed.
And that's because of the right-hand rule?
Well, the Lorentz force causes things to move in a circle based on electromagnetic input. That's why planets spin, because the electromagnetic fields are entering the poles, and the Lorentz force is moving the planet, is spinning the planet.
I gotcha.
That's why everything spins. Everything spins.
Mm-hmm.
All asteroids, all moons, everything spins.
Sure.
Yeah.
When I've looked up
the Lorentz force.
Because of the Lorentz force, right? And that's just another way of saying, but right.
The right-hand rule.
When I've looked at field-aligned currents and studied this, it shows it as the electric field The electric current is going, from, let's say, from right to left, and so is the magnetic field.
Mhm.
It's also going from right to
The
left.
magnetic field surrounds the current flow. It surrounds it. It's pinching it.
Then how is that? If it's pinching it, that means that it's going 90 degrees away from the direction of the
From the
current.
center of the wire. Yes.
So then how does it make sense to say that it's also moving parallel with it?
The current is moving.
The current is moving, but I'm talking about the magnetic field.
The magnetic field is moving.
With the current,
It's following. Yes, it's an electromagnetic field.
it's attracted to the current, so it would
It's
be
not an
moving with
electric
the current.
field. It's not a magnetic field. It's an electromagnetic field. So it's both. It's both. Believe me, this is not easy for me. I don't understand Maxwell's equations, and this is why there's no ether because of Maxwell, right? Maxwell's equations do not allow for the ether. And if you want to throw Maxwell out, you got to have something besides, I think an ether is like this. I mean, you got to have something. Because Maxwell, he's the basis of almost everything.
So in Maxwell's equation, there's no possibility for an ether.
No.
Do you believe in an ether?
I thought that was Heaviside's truncation of Maxwell's.
Well, Heaviside, his analysis of Maxwell's equations showed that there was no ether. Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's wild.
didn't know that because I've got a tab open on my other computer of Maxwell's original 20, the extended quaternions, all 20.
Not just the four.
Not just the four, yeah.
Yeah, not just the four, not just the quaternions. And
Yes.
what it looks like, and I'm not a mathematician, but when I looked at them and analyzed them, it looked like they were just the XYZ coordinates of something that couldn't be measured. And so Heaviside said, well, this just makes it too complex, so we're just going to throw it away since we can't measure it anyway.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I can see the reasoning on that. It's unfortunate.
These
but
are
I see the reasoning.
these are the part of the mysteries of science that can never be explained because you reach the bottom of explanation. Below a certain level, there's no explanation. Like, what is the explanation for length? Length is just length. There's no analysis of length. It's just, this is a characteristic of matter, length. Okay. Mass, a characteristic of matter. Electromagnetism, a characteristic of matter. There's no explanation because
God damn it, Steve. I don't want to hear that.
the lexicon doesn't go any deeper. We have a lexicon of a glossary that we can use. And outside of it, there's nothing to use. How do you explain dark?
It's like what?
How do you explain dark?
Yeah.
What is dark? The absence of light. Okay, what is light? Okay. This is where you only have to go like one or two steps down and it all disappears.
Yeah.
Well, what did Eileen say?
Disappears.
Eileen called the ether a field of light, some kind of light.
Yeah, the luminiferous field of light.
Yes, the luminiferous aether.
Yeah, here we go again. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna Matt, tell me if I'm going too far with this, but here we have a magnet. Okay. The magnet's got flux lines around it. Here's the current. The flux lines of this magnet are going this way. And you're telling me that on the field line current, are we just saying that the magnet is also moving? Is that what we mean? So it's not that the flux lines are going
the knitting
parallel.
needle is generating the field. The knitting needle's generating the circular field. There's nothing external. It's the knitting needle itself that's generating the field.
I know, I understand that, and I'm using this magnet to represent the magnetic field that the knitting needle is creating.
Okay.
And so when we say field aligned currents, what I'm thinking of are the flux lines of that magnetic field. They would be going like this because that's what causes the pinch effect on that, but are we also saying that they're moving this way?
with the field, with the current
Okay.
flow.
So it's not that the flux lines are parallel, it's that the field itself, the magnetic field itself is
Extends.
moving.
Well, it extends all along
Right,
the powered channel.
Okay.
It extends, it's not here and here and here. Wherever that current is flowing from start to finish, the electric field surrounds the current flow or the magnetic.
None of it's moving. It's just however long it is how long the magnetic field is.
Well, it's like power from a dam. The electrons aren't moving out to your house.
Right.
They're oscillating
Yes.
inside the wires, so they're not even arriving at your house. What's happening is the electromagnetic field is transmitted outside of the wire.
Right.
And it travels at the speed of light to the load and then dissipates. It's gone. It converts to heat and light and is gone. So the power generated to run your home dissipates in the load. But the power source, the transmission line, does not dissipate. It's constantly fed by the dynamo.
Right.
So it's just in that wire like this, and the more electromotive force you apply pushes the electromagnetic field out to the load. That's why initially you have to have these hundreds of thousands of electron volts.
Right. You have to have the voltage really high to do that.
To push. That's why they call it electromotive force.
Right.
And that's like building up
electrons, huh?
That's like building up water behind a dam. That's what voltage is. Yeah. To build pressure that shoots it.
Voltage is the it's the old hose idea.
Right.
The wider the hose, that's the current. The narrower the hose, that's the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Or the wider the hose and the narrower the hose, that's the resistance.
Right.
Current flow is the volume of water per second coming out of the hose. And the voltage is how much is coming out of the tap. What force is coming from the tap.
I was talking to my father-in-law yesterday who taught physics his whole life. And he said that a lot of times electricians still like to hold on to that plumbing model of electric flow just because it's so accurate, even though the physicists say, no, it's not really this. That's not a good way of looking at it. And they're like, yeah, I don't know about that. I think it is.
Especially because water's charged.
Ha-ha! Ha-ha! Kapoo!
The water is charged if it has a pollutant in it.
Like red light.
Pure water is not charged.
It's not.
Pure, unadulterated H2O.
Well, where do you get that? I mean, you'd have to make like distilled water.
Distilled water.
Distilled water.
Charge.
But you're not going to really find that in nature, I wouldn't think.
No, not really, because water's flowing through mineral deposits always.
Yeah.
It's getting something in it.
So water that isn't charged is something we kind of have to make.
Yeah, you have to remove the charge from the water. And that can be difficult. It's like trying to take charge off a balloon. Nearly impossible.
Yeah, no matter how much I wipe it on my hair, I just can't get it off.
Yeah, once it sticks to you, it's hard to get rid of the charge. You can't, there's very little way of doing it.
Right.
Did you ever see MIT's lectures on electromagnetism with Professor Leuven?
No.
Who?
Leuven.
Professor
Leuven.
Sorry, say that.
The guy at MIT who did the electromagnetism class.
Leuven.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Frizzy hair and always wore like a weird thing on his shirt. Like
I didn't.
Bake a fried egg or something. Yeah, you should watch him. He teaches a 13-part series on electromagnetism. Very interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll check. Yeah, I'll check him out.
How do you spell his name?
I think it's Leuvim. He's Dutch.
Oh, maybe I have. I think I know exactly who that is.
He has frizzy hair.
He has frizzy hair.
Yeah.
I have. I didn't know he. Okay. You said it's hard to get rid of magnetic field. Let me show you this little trick.
Hard to get rid of electric charge once it's on a thing.
Right.
That's a neutralizer.
It's a trifield meter. This is the one that ghost hunters use. I don't use it for ghost hunting. I use it to find actually electromagnetic fields.
Ghost
But
hunting.
yeah. So anyway, this thing is so sensitive that it can pick up the field that's on top of it.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah,
You can see how that's moving just a little bit. Look,
yeah.
this is what eliminates that.
Hmm. Fascinating.
So
And
if
so
I
when-
want to get rid of charge, I have to have you lick something?
You have to lick it.
Yes.
You have to lick it.
Anyone can do it?
Not you, Matt. Sorry. Everyone
Yes.
but you.
Oh,
Before
crap.
we insert this cesium rod, Ben, would you
Lick it first.
So Robert Hawthorne and I have this joke that he just licks rocks because every time we go out on field trips, he'll pick up something and then just go. "Eh."
I'm testing the mineral content.
salty?
True
Get a
science.
t-shirt.
All rock hounds lick rocks.
I want to
You
give him
can
a
tell
t-shirt that says "I lick rocks."
Someday the children of the world will look back on this show as the beginning of knowledge. That's for sure.
Well, there are a lot of things, we've still not even touched on Mars, really. We've just
Let's get back to Mars.
Let's get back
So,
to Mars.
if you were going to give Elon Musk one piece of advice about landing human beings on Mars, what would it be?
forget it.
Forget it. Great. We're fucked.
It'll
Maybe
That's
go
never,
to
it. That's the end. Thanks, everybody.
I'm like one of these people said if man was meant to fly, God would have given him wings. And I'm of the opinion that if man was meant to live on other planets, God would have given them magnetic fields.
What about Ganymede?
Well, how are we going to get there?
Yeah, it's a long flight. Plus, Jupiter would probably cook you.
Like 7 years.
Yeah.
And, Jupiter's electromagnetic environment is like 1,000 times greater than Earth's.
Yeah, people would get fried there, I'd imagine.
Totally fried. You just would
Approaching
not.
it.
The spacecraft that were there had special shields to keep their instrumentation from getting destroyed.
I wonder if there's a way to shield
in fact,
humans.
when Cassini was orbiting Saturn, at times it pointed its main antenna ahead so that it would block any particles impacting the spacecraft.
Really?
So they were willing to sacrifice their high gain antenna to keep the spacecraft itself from being destroyed.
Okay, well, on that note, Steve, put on your sci-fi cap. What sort of augmentations could we do to astronauts so that they could survive that environment? Is there like a way we could install like a lightning rod?
Give us free floating iron in our blood of a higher concentration, like particulate iron,
Colloidal iron.
instead of heme iron.
So
There's
that's
nothing.
grim.
There's nothing we can do.
That's grim.
We're made for this environment. This is why people believe in God, because there's the fit, this anthropomorphic fit between our environments and ourselves are just unbelievable. This is why either people believe in intelligent design or they believe in evolution. But evolution is a foolish idea because you can't evolve one sample of the new species. You have to have lots of them appear all at once. Otherwise, you have no
biodiversity,
viable population.
Pause.
How are you going to have one human born to an ape-like creature and then create a human species? No.
By introducing a very specific and very directed electromagnetic field.
Yes. You would have to have, well, like Rupert Sheldrake says, the morphic fields create new shapes and new metabolic features.
I've never heard him say that changes the species.
It changes them into other species.
No, I've never heard him say
that.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that's what I've never heard him say that.
That's what morphic resonance is all about.
Morphic resonance is taking something and having it follow a pre-existing pattern. And he does say it adds to it, but he didn't say that it creates a speciation.
How do new morphic fields occur? See, That's where the answer lies, is how do new morphic fields occur? He thinks, he's spoken at Electric Universe conferences, Sheldrake, and I've spoken with him personally, and he
Oh, that's
doesn't
cool.
he doesn't have anything. Well, when he got stabbed, I called him a couple of times to check on how he was doing.
When he got what?
Stabbed? Did
Stabbed.
Wall do it?
Yeah, he was at a lecture and some insane lunatic took out a jackknife and stabbed him in the top of the thigh.
What?
Yeah.
What? No, it wasn't
Yeah.
Wall.
Did Wall kill that guy?
What?
Well, we're trying to figure out who Wall murdered.
Yeah. So I never heard that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was laid up for a while. He didn't get hurt badly, but it could have been worse if he had hit the femoral artery.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I wonder what the reason was.
Just a meat wound.
Still,
He didn't like his TED talk or what?
Something like that. Some conference.
Well, there's plenty of assholes out there, that's for sure.
wow,
Decided he didn't deserve to live.
that's insane. But going back to it, I love Sheldrake. In fact, Sheldrake is the reason I'm in the Electric Universe. He is the reason.
Wow. Thanks,
But
Sheldrake.
Michael Levin, Dr. Michael Levin, and I think we've talked about him before. He took nematodes. He's a biologist as well. He took nematode. It's a worm, and they have this really cool thing that if you cut them in half, the head will grow a tail, and the tail will grow a head.
Right.
And that's been done, and so they have fun. Geneticists have fun, tweaking that. But what he found is that when you do that, when you separate it, and you apply a specific electromagnetic field to it, the head will grow a new tail of a different species. He achieved speciation by applying an electric field to that, in one generation.
Sounds like the Prodigal Code.
Sounds like that really speaks of intelligent design. Like there's information encoded in the electric fields that are.
Well, where does the information in your DNA come from?
Yeah.
Your DNA has a code in it.
Yeah.
A code.
And it's silicone compatible. You can turn DNA into a thumb drive and store stuff on it and then pull it back off. It's a simulation, man. I'm sorry. It's a simulation.
Right. I don't know that DNA contains a code. I think it is a code. I don't think it's necessarily created by anything. I think that's just
superimposed code.
It has a superimposed code. Explain that.
The code is not the CGTA. That is not the code. The code is embedded in the CGTA.
Explain.
How do I explain? Okay, an alphabet code. You substitute letters for letters. It doesn't.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
The alphabet is still the alphabet. It's just the letters. The letters have an order applied to them that's different than their natural arrangement.
Right.
Matt, get Grok on this. Have Grok solve
that's
the code.
That's very common. Almost any show you watch on DNA or how our cells work and proton transport systems and all that, you'll find that they will say the code is a mystery. Where did it come from? The code is what causes your body to make enzymes and proteins. It's the code, not the CGTA.
Well, it's not the CGTA, but it's how the CGTA are arranged.
Right.
That does it.
In a code. They're arranged in a code.
So what's arranging them?
No one knows anything like that.
I don't think anything arranges it. It's the same thing of like, I've got two magnets here. What causes them to attract? There's not a God somewhere saying, now these two magnets will attract each other. That's just the nature of magnets.
Are you sure, though?
The DNA exists. The DNA exists. But in the DNA is a something that tells it what to do. The DNA itself.
Does it, though?
Yes. I wish I could explain this more.
Spinning motors on cells.
Just punch me in the face, and that'll explain it.
That'll help. Need a blunt force impact.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I understand.
So
Now I get it. No, I can't stand it.
So if we land on another planet that does have some sort of electromagnetic field so that we don't immediately shut down, is that going to trigger our DNA to make us start changing?
No, it'll kill us.
Oh,
It'll be incompatible. It'll be
way less fun.
It'll be like type A blood and type O blood. It's incompatible. It's like electric frequencies. We're frequency aligned with the planet.
So
the frequency of the planet. One.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sheldrake and his thing that got me involved with everything was the JT, the dog that knew when its master was coming home. And one thing that Sheldrake never considered was that the mind patterns of humans and dogs are at about 8 hertz. We vibrate at about 8 hertz. And that's the same frequency as Alfvén waves in Earth's atmosphere. Electromagnetic Alfvén waves are traveling at about 8 hertz. So JT and his master could be just simply tapping the field.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. Except there's not just one single Alfvén wave that's connecting JT and his master. It's one big wave. That means that communication should be transferred everywhere to everybody, and all dogs and all parrots and all people. Why did those two just get it?
Some of us have more connection than others.
But that's the key. That's what I think Sheldrake was looking for. What is that connection?
Yes. It's whatever makes the code in the DNA, that connection.
Could be the same thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever drives morphogenetic fields, that's the connection. Whatever creates expansion, that's the connection. What brought the universe into existence?
Wow.
Ben, are you on board with simulation theory?
I am open to it. I don't know if I'm an adherent or an acolyte, but I'm open to it.
Because if simulation theory is real, there has to be intelligent design. I mean, who made the damn simulation?
Well, simulation theory is just like, it's semantics. If there's an intelligence great enough to create the cosmos, then why not just call it God?
Well, yeah, I mean, what would the difference be? I guess.
And why would the cosmos be a simulation? Why isn't it just the cosmos created by God? Why does it? I mean, people are desperate to get the word God out of the language, so they start talking about intelligent design and simulation theory instead of creation and a creator.
Well, Steve, the reason I say that is because simulation theory gives humans in this age a logical way to view God.
Oh, right.
I think it kicks the can down the road.
I don't at all. Not at all. For me, as I was agnostic for a long, long, long time, I'm starting to come around to the idea of God, but I'm only getting there because I think it's a simulation. And that's something I can understand. I don't tend to believe in supernatural stuff. You know what I mean? So knowing that there's a way that a mind could create a world that we could all live in, and that's a feasible thing. And I think that's important because if you go 30 years back, we couldn't even entertain those concepts. We didn't have them. They weren't in the lexicon. I mean, we had Plato's allegory of the cave, but until the Matrix came out and people started understanding what a server was and how you could be in a whole other world that doesn't even really exist, I don't think these were concepts we could even philosophize about.
Well, the old philosophers had their own ideas that just didn't include modern technological phraseology.
Exactly.
They just said that things happened according to a certain way.
Right.
They did not have the answer to the way.
Well,
I think our modern language gives us some answer to what that way could be.
Perhaps.
Matt, I still think simulation theory kicks the can down the road, because then you have to ask the question, who made the simulation?
Well, exactly. Exactly.
That was my point. That
But that's
if you have an intelligence able to design a simulation that is the universe, then why not cause the intelligence, call it God, and why not call the universe the universe?
Yeah, I
Instead
tend to call it God. I just think that he
yeah,
did it through some sort of electric framework
demiurges.
yeah, that causes the physical world to arise from it.
Yeah, well, that's Platonism. That's the form that exists in the formless realm. You
Yeah.
know, the form that exists in the formless realm that gives rise to the material form.
Yeah. But
and the,
I kind of think that ancient people knew this stuff according to the technical definitions. Then that civilization got wiped out by floods or catastrophe, and the knowledge was passed on through symbolism and religious text. And
Mhm.
that's why we're only now getting back to the point where we can reconstruct what they knew before.
Yeah. That's why we have such difficulty understanding what they meant
Yes.
or how they did it. I mean, you
Right.
had that gentleman on Jeffrey.
yeah,
Is that his name?
Yeah.
yes,
Jeffrey Drum.
Drummond?
Pyramid Kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Drum.
Jeffrey Drum. He has a very far-fetched idea about the pyramids that nobody, as far as I know, has even considered.
Hmm.
I mean, people have considered the pyramids to be power generators, because of the material they're made of. And
Mhm.
and some of them, like the Red Pyramid, have demarcations in the materials they're made of.
Mhm.
There was supposedly the gold cap on top of Menkaure, or one of them. I can't remember which one. It might have been Menkaure,
Yeah.
the small one.
Yeah, I
But
don't remember.
yeah, but that appears to be some sort of electrical inference, you know.
He
And
just
everybody thinks that, no one knows how they cut the stones, no one knows how they transported them. A lot of this could be due to a different gravity field too, which gives rise to the ideas of electric gravity.
it does indeed.
Oh yeah.
He's put out a lot of information on how they actually did cut the stones. He's shown abrasive technology there, where you just pour a slurry in with the saw and just use that. I mean, he's shown
Like a
that,
And
and I
they're
mean
cutting
using
that's
saw,
saws.
that's well known,
like
right?
like rock cutting saws that they use today.
Right.
Yeah.
They just pour an abrasive slurry and just use a blade without teeth.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And he's shown that. He's shown that, and him and Andy Hall have talked about this, that a lot of the structure, like you've talked about the gold cap and whatnot, were probably electrical channeling devices. And he went so far as to say that they were channeling or calling down thunderstorms,
Thunderstorms. Yeah. Lightning attractors.
lightning attractors. You've
Because a
helped.
lot of these guys have no knowledge of plasma or the electric universe, they don't realize that these events that they're talking about are not these little events, like little lightning bolts. They're the catastrophically globe encircling events that took place at that time.
Well, and with that idea, Jeff, I think Jeffrey, he touched on something I think was really important. He said that the ancients watched those cataclysms happen and then mirrored them. And
Yes.
as we all know, the cataclysms didn't stay at a level 100 the whole time. There was the horrible ones, and then there was smaller versions of it, and they tapered off. That's why
Just
they
picture,
built the freaking calendars.
just like pictures in the sky were what they saw for quite a while. Nothing happened. They just saw the pictures in the sky.
Right.
And Peratt says that the globe encircling plasma field that covered the Earth was like looking at a TV screen to the
Really?
people on the ground. That it was like showing all these images on this plasma screen in the sky.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. That's why he says it wasn't necessarily Mars and Venus up there. It was the plasma screen in the sky that was showing all these things, like the Vimana and the destructions and the lightning bolts and all this other stuff, blasting each other and
There
so
still has
his
to be a
point,
cause for that, though. I,
solar flares. super flares from the sun, which could have been caused by, have you ever seen sun grazer comet videos? Where
Yes,
the,
I
the
have.
comets
maybe,
go
yeah.
so close to the sun that they'll
Yes.
often evaporate. Well, in a large percentage of those, as soon as the comet reaches aphelion, a huge solar flare will detonate.
Mhm.
A CME will occur.
Right.
And astronomers to this day refuse to say that the comet had anything to do with it
Oh,
because
boo.
because the comet is so small compared to the sun that it couldn't have an effect like that.
That's okay.
It just goes to show that the solar fields are so unstable that even adding a little drop of something into them throws them into
Right. Well, and we have another example of that. I don't remember if it was probably us. In fact, Steve, it was you that talked about this, that when there's lightning on Jupiter, our ionosphere rings. Didn't you tell us that in one of your last conversations?
I might have.
I'm almost sure that was you who said that, but or maybe it was Andy Hall. I don't know. It might have been Andy.
It was either Claridge or him, but I'm pretty sure it was Steve.
The point is if that can happen and we can register that, it shouldn't be a surprise that a comet would have that effect on the sun. Because the other thing, if it is, you have to ask the question, why do sunspots occur?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from an electrical universe point, there has to be a perturbation in that electric field that causes the sun to happen, to cause those sunspots to occur and to cause the CMEs to do, as you said, "Blah!"
It could be
Well,
galactic.
yeah, wouldn't the Birkeland current that powers the sun, if it had a lull in voltage, like less power coming through, wouldn't that do it?
Yes, but what causes that? It might be a comet.
What causes the galaxy to fluctuate?
Yeah.
So Holger Eisenberg, he's going to be speaking at the Salon this September. He's the one that turned me on to sun grazing comets, and there's a very specific, and Steve, maybe you know this, a specific name for these guys that they come around every single month.
Kreutz.
There it is.
Kreutz.
That's it.
Kreutz
comets.
Kreutz family comets from the breakup of a giant comet many years ago.
The fact that that is not common knowledge is just, it's devastating. I mean, that's like not knowing that we breathe air.
Well, look at how many times you guys say
I breathe
did
ether.
not know that.
I say it all the time.
And I only know what I know because I'm 70. You know, I've had 30 to 40 years more of this input, you know, and
Yeah.
I've had a chance to sort it over this time, you know, because what we're talking about is not new. When I first came on board with Electric Universe, you know, they were writing about this stuff in 2005.
Yeah.
Even before that, in the 90s, when they had their email mailing list, they would write about this stuff, you know, back in the Saturnian theory days.
Yeah.
You know, this is all so new. I mean, when you consider that Velikovsky's book, Worlds in Collision, was written in the 50s,
Yeah.
that's like yesterday.
That's within our lifetimes. That's
Yeah.
within your lifetime.
Not mine.
I first read Worlds in Collision when I was 16. And the unusual thing is that my Bible study teacher gave me it.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I think Electric Universe is very compatible with religion.
Especially the book of Revelation, you know, where you talk about the wormwood hitting the ocean and the you know, the various signs in the sky and this and that and the other. I mean, even the Gospels talk about signs and wonders.
They tell the same story. In fact, that's where the stories come from.
And if
course they're going to agree.
If the cataclysms are some sort of cycle, which I'm not saying that they are, but if they are, it really makes sense that all they would have to do to forecast the future is just describe what happened in the past.
Well, that's what the prophets in the Old Testament are doing.
Mhm.
They talk about the
Exactly.
mountains looking like lambs, and they talk about this and that and the other, and the mountains being overthrown and turned upside down, and winds of enormous strength and power destroying whole civilizations. You know, the Old
Yeah.
Testament talks about that. A blast from the Lord, according to the book of Jeremiah, killed like 100 and some odd thousand of the Assyrian army in one night.
Oh, they probably had it coming.
Incinerated
Yikes.
them in their armor.
It was Wall.
It incinerated them in their armor. Yeah. They were blackened husks in their armor.
That's
Yikes.
wild.
Yeah.
That's
so
awful.
A blast from the Lord, right?
I hope, Matt, that you're wrong, that I hope these aren't cyclical, because I don't want a blast from the Lord in 2025.
Well, that's what the prophets were doing, is warning us that this is what happened. Look at what God did. And if you don't behave, you're going to get it again. Because, there's only two, this is a technical point, but it might be worth repeating. There are only two words in the English language that have surrection in them: insurrection and resurrection. In Greek, the same thing happens. There's stasis and anastasis. Both mean the same things in English and Greek: resurrection and insurrection. God constantly called the Israelites insurrectionists who disobeyed his commands, who disobeyed his laws, who violated his laws, who turned their backs on him. That made them insurrectionists. The only way that they could be brought back or reconciled was to be resurrectioned.
Interesting.
Therefore, Jesus demonstrated the resurrection.
What's a surrection then?
Huh?
What's surrection then? If
I
you have to
don't
be
know. It's a
resurrected,
Yeah, it's a French term. It
meaning
has something to do with life.
Derived from the Latin verb surgere, past participle surrectus, meaning to rise or to stand up. It combines sub or up from below and regere, to direct or rule.
Like if you're an insurrectionist, you're against life. That was basically the concept of God's condemnation of Israel. You're against me, the life giver. To be resurrected, you have to be brought back to life. So
what about
that's the difference between Christianity and all other religions. Christianity paints humanity as dead and needing to be brought back to life.
Yeah, you have to invite God into you, or that. I always wonder about that. What if God is the singular consciousness that makes us aware, and if you live a shitty, ungodly life, maybe he doesn't feel like watching your life, and so you're kind of an NPC.
No, God chooses those who are his. There's no such thing as free will.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're all just one consciousness, then I suppose that would be true. Yeah.
Well, because we're dead in trespass and sins, as the Bible says, we have no capacity to choose. We're a corpse. God has to reinvigorate the corpse and bring it to life. There's no other way. Otherwise, we remain dead. We are not like other religions that say, I will make you a better human. In other words, like Buddhism, practice these practices and you'll be a better man. Islam is the same way. Obey Allah and you'll be better. Your life will be better. They're all the same. Hindu, the same. Buddha, they all say, do this and you'll be a better person. But Christianity is the only religion that states you need life. You need to be brought back to life because you are dead. And there's no thing a cult can do. Huh?
It's a death cult.
it's a death cult.
It is. It's a death cult. We worship a dying God, but a God that came back to life. That's Christianity. I'm not necessarily.
And there he is. There he is right there, kids. There's the God that died, came back to life.
The warrior king. There he is, right there.
That's
Jesus.
grim.
That's what Dave Talbot called Jesus, was Mars.
Exactly. There's Jesus right there, kids.
Moses, Jesus, Ishtar, all of them.
In Sumerian, I think Mars
There's a
also
better picture
represents.
In Sumerian, what?
I think Jesus is also represented as the Mars god. Not that there's a Jesus in Sumeria, but there is the story of the Garden of Eden on the Sumerian stones.
Ishtar.
Yeah, and the Jesus figure in that, which is strange because the figure that we would call God leaves, and the figure that we would call Jesus is the serpent in the garden in the Sumerian stones.
Well, God represents both.
I agree. Yeah.
You're gonna scare people.
Well, you know, in Buddhism or Hinduism, Brahma left.
Yeah,
Brahma created the world, and he left to parts unknown.
right.
He hasn't been seen since. So
Hasn't been seen
Vishnu,
since.
Vishnu and Shiva took over.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like an allegory that we have a creator and then we have guides.
I mean, Krishna.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
live in the simulation to guide people through it.
Yeah.
The
Well,
idea
you know,
of a guide is very nice and very comforting. I'll grant you that. Very comforting.
like Osiris,
Osiris.
or Prometheus, you know,
And Osiris
or
comes from a virgin birth
Quetzalcoatl. Hmm?
because they cut off Horus's dong and threw it in the Nile. but Isis still managed to pump out Horus in 9 months. So, of course, I guess she made him a golden dick and put that on him. But I don't know if
Something like
either way, it's immaculate conception.
Right.
Yeah, these stories are fascinating that the ancients told.
It's weird how they are all very similar.
That
Same
is-
themes.
And that's why we're all here. Because we
Right.
all
Well-
found out and we all saw the pattern.
Okay, so in conclusion, we can't go to Mars and we will never be multiplanetary. That's probably the most depressing damn thing I've heard since Jeffrey Drum destroyed my Lighthouse of Alexandria fantasies.
Wait till we get outside of the heliosphere and discover that it's a place that we'll never survive, ever, ever.
Bite your tongue.
Is it because there's just no electric charge out there? Or what?
No, it's because no shielding can prevent us from vaporizing from the ionizing radiation.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what happened to the?
energy in the IMF is the interstellar magnetic field. The IMF is incredibly powerful.
Oh man.
It's almost like the Birkeland currents that encompasses the solar system and our planet. That's the safety zone. That's the Goldilocks zone. That's what you're saying. Because
outside this, yeah, go.
Wait a minute. How do people on the International Space Station survive?
They're inside of
you're still inside it.
Oh,
Yeah, you know, our magnetic field touches the moon.
okay.
So, and we can understand this, and just, I know we're wrapping up here, but you can understand this because a Birkeland current, the models that we have, is that it's counter-rotating cylinders. Each of those cylinders is a cylinder, which means they're shielded from each other. And
Yes.
you can think of that when something is inside one of those shields, they are shielded and protected from what's on the right, what's on the left, what's above and below. It's
Like the
literally a
sapphire.
shield.
Like the sapphire electrode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, all those nested cylinders. They would be cylinders if you weren't just looking at a ball.
The Earth is the same way.
This is something that just happened last night. Imagine hey, look at you. Good job. Oh, yours is better. Yours is colorful.
Mine's rainbow.
Yep. I did something last night, and I called my father-in-law to help me explain it. And he got a good explanation. I took a candle flame.
I'm just helping.
Imagine my finger as a candle flame, and I attached my transformer to here. I just pinched it on there, so I electrified this, right? So this has an active electric field around it, and with the candle flame out here, the candle flame would wiggle and dance. And if I put it inside and electrified it, the candle flame was solid. It didn't wiggle and dance, even though it was closer to the electrified, aspect of this. And I said, why is that? And he says, because this thing acted like a Faraday cage. But essentially, it's a shield.
Mm-hmm.
So, kids, imagine if your idea from earlier, where the Earth and the center of the Earth is a toroid, and the toroid expands out beyond the surface where we live, we're in a protected bubble.
Yeah.
We are literally in a protected bubble.
So can we create some sort of mechanism that could create a magnetic field around us to keep us safe in space?
Too big.
Steve says no.
It's too big. It's like
Man,
people ask me, why can't we tap the Berkeley? Why can't we tap it for energy, electric energy? I said, well, you'd have to make an antenna pretty much as big as the planet. You know, the expenditure in order to tap the limited diffuse energy is far too great. You
But
know,
could we tap the Earth?
no, because once again, you got a planet weighing 6 septillion tons, and nothing we can do can even, you know, we're a little gnat.
Yeah.
You know, there's just nothing we can do. We're too weak. We're
I'm
little.
so depressed.
We're little.
Oh, there.
We're
I want the Big
biological.
Bang model.
We're biological. We're meat puppets. You know,
Meat puppets trapped on Earth forever.
forever. We're meat puppets. We're at the mercy of our environment. We can't change it. We can't influence the ocean. We can't influence the atmosphere, despite what these climate people.
Heretic!
We can't do anything like that. We can't affect our environment like that. That's arrogant.
Crash the server.
It's hubris for human beings to think that we're either so important, so powerful, or so all good that we deserve anything or that we can do anything. We're never going to inhabit the galaxy. Never.
That's so
It'll
depressing.
be too late.
Take the tail off a monkey and he thinks he's the center of the universe.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
There you go.
Steve, once again, this has been awesome. Love chatting with you. Could just go for hours and days.
I know.
But then I'd probably...
We got to
we
talk
could go
about
for-
Mars one of these days.
We got some Mars stuff in there. Just enough to make me want to slit my wrists.
Well, a lot of it is so interrelated, you know.
It really is.
Mars and the Southwest are so interrelated. They even look the same. And they're made of the same materials.
And that's probably where we'll film our first Mars landings.
Oh. Ouch. Hey, Steve, do you have any papers, any websites you want us to plug, to link to?
Not really. I mean, everybody, well, not everybody, but most of the people who know me know about the picture of the day.
Picture of the day.
And anything I've spoken of is going to be in there.
So
okay.
I know what I'm going to do, and we talked about this before. Those 8 videos that you made of the 3D surface of Mars, or I'm sorry, the 3. We're going to add that as a link, so people go out and buy some 3D glasses. Go to Walmart, spend $1, get your glasses, because we're going to link them in there. They are awesome. They are so cool.
Wait.
Well, you didn't find yours, huh?
I'm going to go buy some as soon as I hang up with this call.
Do you have any, Matt?
I probably got some around here somewhere. I'll find them.
I'll buy some for you, Matt. I'll mail them up to you.
Oh, you're the best.
You can find paper ones too that are really cheap.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I got a movie theater. Will those black ones work, or do you have to have the red blue ones?
Red blue.
Okay. Well, in that case, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about those. Other ones are electronic.
I didn't even know that. So what, they got like a battery in them or something?
Yeah, they have
You
batteries.
make me
Or they're plug into
happy.
USB. So
We talked about that. They're showing you the right eye to your right eye, and then showing you the left eye to your left eye, like once.
Yeah, I recall. I thought it was something to do with the movie.
50th of a second. Huh?
I thought it had more to do with the movie, not the glasses. But it's
No, it's the
interesting.
glasses. Well, the movie too, because the movie is showing the right view and then it's showing the left view. So the movie is flickering also.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
it is. But the red blue glasses, easy, cheap at Walmart. Go get them, everybody.
Yep.
You're gonna want to
All
watch
right.
this.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All
Steve,
right.
thank you much. Talk to
Have
you
fun,
later.
Steve. See you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Brainstorm with Sparks and Finn. Hope you learned something new or found some food for thought. If you did, take a second to smash that like and subscribe button and consider joining our Patreon to help Sparks and I spread the word. And then join us next time as we explore this amazing electric universe. Cheers!